So we go to machine and we want to create a new machine, or you can just click on the new icon here. So what we're going to do is showing you how to add a new machine onto virtual machine, right? And then load the OS onto it. So since I'm going to do that, what I'm going to do, I'm going to download the Fedora. For example, we're going to get Fedora on this, right? On this new machine. Then I don't need to wait for that. Okay. So you see it's gonna be .iso, right? So that's what we need. So come back to virtual machine. So since we're waiting for, while we're waiting for the OS to download, we're going to configure our machine. This is just like you go to the store now, and then you can pick the specification. So first we can name this just like that name that I put. I have Ubuntu, I have Ubuntu already, 2 machines there. So I'm gonna name Fedora. And by default it's gonna pick the Linux Fedora, right? The list, they have IBM, Mac, Windows, a lot of Solaris, right? BSD. So now this is where you're going to set up the size of your RAM. Okay, I'm gonna leave it as default. You can increase the size too. Like when you buy a computer, you need a megabytes of RAM, right? And this is when you want to pick up your hard disk. Okay. So I'm going to create a new hard disk. Okay, so we have virtual hard disk, VirtualBox disk image. So I'm going to pick VHD and just do the dynamically allocated. Okay. Now this is the size of your virtual hard disk. It's recommended at 8 GB. Like you can increase the size of the hard disk. Like I said, I'm going to leave it as default. I don't want to increase so much because this is going to occupy your physical machine, right? And it's going to slow down your physical, the native OS that you have, right? So I don't want to have too much. We just click create. Then we get a new machine. We have Fedora machine now. And that machine will not, let's see, let me show you. Like I have Ubuntu. If I start Ubuntu, it's going to start like you turn on the machine. You guys see it's loading up the Ubuntu. Okay. Like my machine here is kind of old. It's slow too. This is about 3.5 years old. Okay, but it's still not too bad to use. Okay. Now this machine has already installed the OS, so it should loading up the OS just like when you start your computer. You see your Windows start to come up and so on. Okay, but the Fedora machine that we use, we just created machine. We didn't install the ISO yet or the software for the OS, so we just download that. So since we're waiting for this, we're going to go and check for the program that we download. It should be done, I think. Yes, done. You can hit on view download, right? So what we need is we need to link. Okay, so let me just use Explorer to go to downloads. We gotta link the virtual machine to this to show you how to install that. Okay, I'm going to copy the path and come back to virtual machine Okay, so this is just showing that machine reports that the guest OS does not support mouse pointer. You need to capture the mouse in order to use the mouse. So let's talk about, it's loading the Ubuntu, right, for this one.
I have a question. What was that mouse error message? What was it trying to say?
Of course, when you install, when you have a new physical machine, normally when you install a new thing, you need to have a driver, right?
Oh, for the mouse.
So sometimes not detect the driver, something like that.
Okay.
Right, so I already installed that, so I pretty much, that is my Ubuntu, right? Like I said, this is just like you have a new computer, right? And hopefully I remember the password. Okay, and I did. So it's, like I said, it's going to be a little bit slow because we're running the virtual machine on my small laptop, 3.5-year-old, and my laptop itself is already slow. Okay. Like if you run onto your machine that you don't have problem with slow or snail mode, then you should be okay. Okay, but it's still okay, acceptable to just not having anything for now. Now, that is the OS that I'm running, and we're going to show. So that's Ubuntu. So that was the goal, right? And then for your project, you need to mount to your USB port,
Mouse
right?
to USB.
Or you can just email to yourself and open the files here, because you might, if you're new, then you might run into problems like USB is not picking up or something like that, just like the driver issue for a new machine. Then I just try to tell you another solution is just email to yourself, use the browser here, right? And then download it here if you have having problem to connect to your USB.
We should save our project as a jar.
Yeah, you can install Eclipse and everything and do developments on here too. Okay. Now, another thing is, like that, you see, you can just download and get from there. Another thing is, if you happen to have the issue with the Wi-Fi connections, it's the same issue that you need to configure that. Okay, drivers and things like that, because this is like your new machine, right? Alright, so now what we're gonna do is, let's see if I can. Yes, we switch back. I'll still leave that on, which is not a good idea. It's going to slow down my machine, but for now I'm going to try to leave it on.
So can you run one of your projects?
So you see it's running Ubuntu. Now, if I start this, of course, it's going to show something like that. You have started a newly created virtual machine for the first time. So it's going to step you to the necessary step for installing the new OS of your choice, right? Which we're going to add Fedora, right? Use the next button to go. Okay. Alright, select the media which contains the setup program, which is the one that we just download, right? The ISO one, you see, these are the previous one for my Ubuntu and Xubuntu. It just stay there. Now we're going to get the Fedora one, right? Under downloads folder that I just showed you earlier. I downloaded, and then hit next, and then start. Now it's going to do the work. It's going to load Fedora, do step by step, right? And then you just follow instruction to install Fedora. Make sense?
Yeah, so we should download it to our desktop, but we shouldn't open it from the desktop. That could crash our system. We should only open it from the virtual machine.
So next, you pretty much just going to send your jar file, the runnable jar file, to your email, and then open the browser from your Ubuntu, right? Log onto your email and get that file. Did you just email me, you said, to my Gmail?
Yeah. Which I can do it on here.
I don't see it.
It shows it when I sent 442. I'm sure we can send executables over Nova. Because one time I think I tried to do that, got an error message.
No, you cannot.
So then you wouldn't be able to get it.
You can send from your personal email. Alright, so now I just open the email and download the file, right? So now it's going to go to the virtual machine one. So this one I just showing from Ubuntu since Fedora is still installing. You pretty much do the same, right? On Fedora, and you have to do Ubuntu too, right? Alright, so now let's see, it should go to my downloads folder, right? And that's the one, right? This is a runnable one, correct?
Yeah, it's executable one.
So let's see if I can just double click on.
So don't you need to open up Eclipse first?
It say the file is not marked as.
It's marked as executable on the drive. It says executable jar file is type. Type of file executable jar file.jar.
Okay. It's Nova machine, I cannot do much, so alright. Let's see. We need a path to the downloads, okay? That we're going to run that downloads file. So I click on downloads, and this should be the path, home/downloads here, right? Or I think we can actually go to the right click and properties. Then you can get the absolute path too. And then after you get the path, you just need to know where it is and go to the CMD and run that. I'm gonna copy that, okay, and go back to my terminal. And then I need to now CD, right? And then paste that path. Machine is kind of slow. So after open the terminal, type CD and go to the path that you have downloaded your jar file, right? Now I'm going to type Java jar and the name atm runnable.jar. Enter. And this is the command to run that jar. Okay. So after that, it's pretty much going to run the program that you try to test, right?
Not bad.
So that's how you use the. Pretty much just capture the screen output of this and Then with the you see the background of different